Welcome to episode 160 of the Beefy Boys Breakdown. We're going over this super massive UFC 299 card. And bro, like all week, I had this big fight feel, this big event, looking forward to it feel. And I was like, am I overreacting? And then I was listening to Anik and Florian pod, and Anik said the same thing. He's like, man, I've been doing this 12 years, and I haven't been this hyped. And he put it right up there. I don't know if he definitively said the most hype he's ever been, but he said he put it right up there in his 12 years of as far as I legitimately had that shout out John Anik, that one more sleep. I felt like I was waiting for Christmas morning.
Yeah, when I waking up Saturday morning, it felt good. I was like, oh man, it's fight day. It's fight day. UFC fight nights, I don't get that same feeling.
I was bummed we had to wait until 3 for the early prelims. 3, I'm on the West Coast, so it was 3 our time. I guess it was even later
5.
for y'all. Yeah. I was like, damn, why can't this be one of the cards that starts at 10:30 in the morning?
Yeah, for real. And then I would say top to bottom this card, and a lot to be said about it, but it's gonna be up there with 300 for card of the year. And I think if 300 has any mishaps, this could easily overtake it as best card of the year.
Yeah, for sure, bro. I think if you juxtapose this card against any of our nominees for card of the year last year, I'll probably take this one.
I'll probably take this one. I mean, you have Michael Venom Page making his debut. You have 2 guys getting shots to make or 3 guys in the main card. Song Yadong, Jack Della, and Benoit all getting a shot to actually kind of start turning divisions over. This was a big night for future of the divisions that all these guys are in. And then not to mention you have the rematch. Sean's 1 loss, and you have a guy like me who's sitting here, watched the fight 6 times, their first one, telling you till I'm blue in the face, Sean is going to dominate this in a decision, and there's just no other way. I mean, we can dive into it.
Yeah, let's dive into it. Also, great day at the books. If you watched our betting episode, then you made some money. All of our bets that we gave you cashed. They're a plus 450 something 4-leg parlay that cash, underdog that cash, and a prop that cash.
That's back-to-back weeks. Back-to-back weeks, yeah. 12 picks in a row.
Fucking subscribe to our pod and do yourself a favor and win some money, cash some tickets alongside us, because we are crushing the books. But yeah, man, dive into this main event. Sean O'Malley making his first title defense as a big favorite, honestly. Finished at minus 260. We unfortunately got him at minus 280. One of the only picks that didn't age well throughout the week.
I thought that was
a
wild.
money line moving one.
I thought that was absolutely wild. I thought people would hammer O'Malley.
I think every podcast and just talking head I listened to all week just kept hammering home the whole Cheeto Vera's never been knocked out, and that's all anybody was talking about. I feel on these shows, and that's fine. Take that information and do what we told you to do with it and bet O'Malley by decision. Because you're right, Cheeto does have a chin.
And also, we'll get to it, but Cheeto's chin, damn, man, it is impressive.
Yeah, lived up to the hype for sure. Yeah, also just wanted to touch on it real quick, then we'll dive into the nitty gritty. But yeah, last night watched this card at a bar, and it's been a long time since I watched a card, at a bar, with some casuals and explaining shit, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It did kind of suck not being able to maybe rewind a couple things I usually do. So if I'm a little murky on a detail there, and obviously the libations were flowing, but yeah, I mean, I had a great time, and just like I said, talk about big card and feel we were so into it. Then the person next to me got real into it. Ended up getting a subscriber to the pod. Shout out, appreciate you. And but by the end of it, the whole bar, the bartenders, everybody was in on it. There was nobody gave a fuck about what's happening on the other 3 TVs, and I kind of sold
you
the
ushered
bar
in.
and yeah, no, it was cool, man. Just preaching the gospel out there, to saving souls of making MMA fans. But yeah, it's fun. So I just kind of wanted to provide that context. I was watching it at a bar without sound, but really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it, and added to that quote unquote big card feel. But yeah, man, we'll dive into this main card.
I remember I did that at the Cohiba Lounge, a cigar bar in Norman that I'm sure you're familiar with, but. For viewers, a cigar bar, little chill spot. But I remember whenever Petr Yan landed the illegal knee to Aljo in their fight, I watched that there, and then I came back and watched the rematch there, and like the same people showed up for the rematch. It was actually pretty fire.
Cool. And like it was cool too that this card delivered because obviously I was like talking it up, and like it would have been so lame if like we had some weird no contest. Speaking of what you just mentioned, like or like some anticlimactic moment, but like everybody that was like in, maybe like kind of like I said casuals or maybe not even MMA fans at all. Like what a treat if this was like the first UFC card you watched in years or maybe even ever. Like what a great introduction to
or
the
even
sport,
if you're just like a big like Poirier, like O'Malley, like you've been riding the last few years, and I mean these are guys that typically that you're not, I wouldn't say casual UFC fan, but not hardcore, that right in between. You know the fighters, but maybe you don't watch every fight. Those are two guys I guarantee you that they heard the names and were like, oh, I'll watch them fight.
Oh yeah, for sure, man, for sure. A lot of people actually, Cheeto had a lot of like, I wouldn't say fans, but like
Cheeto
people
won the
more
crowd.
like recognition. Even just like my little sample size at the bar, like had more recognition than I was expecting. Like I thought, yeah. I mean, he has been around for like 10 years. It kind of makes sense, but
quite literally UFC for 10 years. Never been knocked down once. That's why I gave you O'Malley by decision last Sunday, people.
Yeah, tune into our betting episode. It'll be on our channel. Hit that subscribe button. First question I got to get out of the way, man, because I don't think it's necessarily a round by round. Like, how did you score? I mean, it was a landslide. Sean O'Malley, I mean, masterclass, cruise to victory, however you want to kind of spin
masterclass.
it. But
masterclass.
But I guess my question is, did you give out any 10-8s?
I did not. Now, the round where Cheeto gets rocked with the knee, or I believe round 3, if I'm not mistaken, could make the argument that is a 10-8 round. I mean, I see the damage, but Cheeto was firing back and didn't get knocked down. Like, it's a big visual thing for a 10-8 is scoring that knockdown.
Yeah, you're right. It's like, there was no knockdowns. There was a cut that occurred in round 2, and like you said, at the big knee, and it might have been round 3. But so there were big moments and there were damage, but you're right. There was no knockdowns and there was no. I didn't give out any 10-8s either. Just didn't pass the like kind of
the 10-8 smell test. Yeah. I didn't ever see a guy
like
get. I never saw Cheeto being dominated to the point where I thought he wasn't dangerous.
It's like one of those things. If you have to score the entire fight on it, like it might be a 10-8. Like if you look at it like broad stroke, like one championship. Like obviously they don't. I don't think you have 10-8 to one championship, but like you see what I'm saying. Like it was a dominant performance, but just no round reached like 10-8 status. Like there may have been like we're talking like verdict style scoring, plenty of like 9.1s. You know what I mean? What
do you think was Cheeto's best round from just an overall perspective? I thought round 4 he put up a pretty damn good fight.
Yeah.
Still lost the round, but I thought round 4 was when we saw him actually come to life, and he actually got a small little cut on Sean's eye in round 4.
You're right. He started to kind of,
still
Sean
lost the round
unscathed, but had some success, won some exchanges. Sure.
Okay, now, so it sounds like you're fully on the wagon of Sean dominated this fight. I mean, right? Like at no point was it ever even a question.
And it was cool too because at no point was it either. It wasn't boring either. Like it wasn't like I thought it was like that. Cheeto did just enough to like make it like it wasn't snoozy, but it just also wasn't close. It's kind of rare when that happens.
So the thing I was riding on from my previous breakdown of their first fight, with 2 things, I guess. Cheeto not going to kick him in the perennial nerve again. That's such a hard thing to do. That's like, that's catching a lightning in a bottle twice. It's just not going to happen. So
I thought he should have tried. I thought he should have thrown more leg kicks.
For sure.
I don't think. I mean,
I thought Sean came with a good amount of leg kicks as well early on, kind of trying to deter that from happening. Which is one like key point to a nice little strategy change for Sean. He did have a lot more leg kicks early, but the thing that he did in the first fight and continued to do in the second fight, and it's the whole reason he wins this fight and dominates Cheeto and can be in his grill, touching him up and then sliding back out, is he's able to fluidly change stances and throw strikes. Orthodox southpaw doesn't matter, but the power hand always stays right. So he'll throw power jabs, slide in, and then throw a straight with his loaded backhand. And it's all the same hand.
Yeah, I mean, it was a masterclass at range management. I did like the amount. the amount of body kicks he threw throughout the entire fight, like he never really got away from it, which some fighters will do. They'll have success with body kicks early and then just kind of get away from it. I thought he did a good job of pretty much just stick to the game plan, like the exact opposite of like a Kevin Holland. Like we'll get to that, but just Sean is really good at like not in a fight away, like sticking to the game plan, like just I don't know. It just,
to your point, man, Sean would be in southpaw. He'd throw the back leg body kick, so liver kick, right? He'd throw it. He would land the leg and stand on the forward kick leg, and then throw a punch with the landing. It's like he could fight out of both stances at any point, and that was giving Cheeto nightmares.
It was indeed. Besides the big knee and just how clean of a performance O'Malley put on, I don't think I have too much more X's and O's to get into. I think it'll be a lot more fun to talk about kind of fallout and like where we go from here and like how far do you drop Cheeto and those type of conversations.
Yeah, let's get into it. You're right.
Yeah, like after the fight, O'Malley calls out Poirier. Basically, nobody's down for that. Dana's not really down. Poirier even said like, "Hey, beat Merab and then we'll talk." Like the fan base doesn't seem super like galvanized behind it. So I think it's fair to say, like, Merab's next for Sean. Like, I think that's signed, sealed, delivered. Merab was in the crowd. There's been already a few moments between them. Like, it's obvious. He's the number one contender. I don't think that we have to try to be smart marks here and think of some other idea. Like, it's Merab.
I think he's the favorite, in my opinion. I
Yeah,
I know the live odds or early odds are minus 210 for Merab, I'm pretty sure. But it's like, that's probably right. If I'm being honest, I like that number.
I feel that way too. It is interesting because Merab, he like has a chin and doesn't have a chin at the same time. Like every fight, he gets like flashed, but he never gets like finished. And he's durable, but he always gets flashed in these fights. It's happened a couple times, and it is interesting that like if these lower guys are like flashing him, like maybe Sean puts him out cold. Like Sean does hit different than these other bantamweights, but like he better. Like how we were saying Sean by decision in this fight against Cheeto, against Merab, I don't think there's a chance in hell he wins a decision. He's gonna have to KO him.
No, because simply put, like when Sean fights a striker, he wins because of what I'm talking about, the stance and range control, to your point as well. Like his ability to be fluid, stance changing, throw weapons from both sides, and also control the range because of how long he is what allows him to beat strikers. Like Cheeto, like Corey. I think if he fought Corey Sandhagen, he could do the same things. Maybe not as effectively. I think Corey puts up a lot better fight. That'd be interesting too. But with Merab, if you try to do that little stance thing, you're giving him your hips, and he's getting your and you cannot do that. So for Sugar, he has to throw everything going backwards.
And we still haven't seen Sugar take on like that real wrestling heavy guy. Like he never had to fight a Ricky Simone or. You're right. You're right.
He starched him, and he won the first round too.
Yeah, but he also didn't. He got taken down by Petr Yan in their fight, and Rob's a better. You can do some MMA math. You can get lost in the weeds here on this breakdown, and I'm sure. But
I think the Merab. I think the Merab just money line is the bet in that future fight. Now, what I was saying, and you could call it talking crazy, was that Sean completely fumbled by calling out Poirier last night. He kind of, by defending the belt now, having a defense, and beating Aljo, he almost gets the right to, I don't know, not necessarily call out anyone outside Merab, but like, if he were to call out Corey Sandhagen, I don't think the fans are necessarily hating it as much as Poirier, so he doesn't get the backlash. And then what does Merab have to do? Merab's going to have to fight Umar. And that's, if you're Sean, you need those two to fight each other before they fight you.
Maybe. I think the Merab fight was just going to happen. So I think he was like, I don't even know if you want to say troll, but like, all right, well, I think everybody knew Merab was going to happen next, like basically regardless of what he said. That's where I'll just push back a little bit. I think that if he calls out Sandhagen, like, guess what? He's still fighting Merab next. Personally, that's my personal belief. So I guess kind of agree to disagree there.
I think Merab is like waiting, but I'm just saying, like, in my head, Sugar loses that fight. I'm not trying to take a fight that I'm favored to lose.
Yeah, but he's already ducked him. Like, you could argue this was a duck. If the UFC already let him get away with it once, like
I
Cheeto didn't deserve
know.
the shot.
I know.
But Cheeto lost to Sandhagen.
Bro, I would keep trying to duck. I don't give a shit. Like, that belt means pay-per-view points. That means money. That means his brand. I'm ducking.
Yeah, fair. I just don't think he like. Yeah, I think like it's the end of the line, son. You got to face the music, the Marab Georgian music.
He better pray for like a Marab injury, like a training camp injury. That would be like the saving grace for O'Malley.
Ideal scenario. What up, Sandhagen? You doing all right out there in Colorado? Come step in. I feel you. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't disagree with any of that. It's like, to your point, I have Marab #1 in my bantamweight power rankings. I do.
Yeah, me too.
Guess who I have 3? Kind of a hot take, but not really. I think a lot
Umar.
of Umar. I do.
You have him above Corey. Do you have him below O'Malley?
I have him, below O'Malley, above Corey, and above Yan. I think, especially after what I saw after Yan said,
Yan looks a little mentally broken. We'll get to that.
I think Umar beats Petr Yan. I think he beats Song Yadong. I think he beats Cheeto. Like, I think he beats a lot of these guys. So it's like. And now as far as where I dropped Cheeto,
yes,
I dropped him all the way down to 10, and I got some hot takes of names I have over him.
Davison?
I don't like his. No, but I do have some young lions. I mean, I got Song Yadong above him. I got Kyler Phillips above him. I got Jonathan Martinez above him.
Oh,
I got Mario Bautista.
Phillips.
Yeah, I got a real hot take on how far I jumped him up.
All right.
I'm in on Kyler Phillips, and I didn't expect to be. It was one of those ones where I kind of tried not to be. Started doing deep dive and started comparing resumes.
His win over Song Yadong is aging well.
What are you supposed to do with that? You're supposed to just ignore it?
And he's young. He's like 26 or something, Kyler Phillips is.
And he looks better. Like, he's not
looked a lot better
on his laurels.
Yeah, agree. He goes for it and looks very technically safe.
He looked better against Pedro Munoz than Sean O'Malley did.
Yes. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We'll get to it. Call it a hot take, but Cheeto Vera, bro, I think there's 9 guys that can beat him in the division.
That's probably fair, too, because if you think about how Cheeto got to where he is currently, I mean, he got kind of walked by Corey after beating Dominic Cruz and
You know what I'm saying? The Cruz KO, he doesn't get this title shot without the Cruz KO.
And having beat Sean on the luckiest leg kick.
Yeah, for sure. All that. I don't think he's skill for skill better.
No.
Instead of Mario Bautista, I mean, that's iffy. If you put Cheeto over Mario.
Cheeto that's a close fight.
Yeah, like I said, you want to flip flop those. I'm not going to die on any hills, but Bautista younger, trending upwards. I don't know. Stylistically, more of a wrestler. If he takes him down, I like his chances for sure. I don't know if he beats him on the feet, but. I mean, cardio for days. I mean, yeah. I mean, especially if it's a 3-round fight and Cheeto's going to give you the first round. I'm probably betting Bautista, especially if I'm getting plus money on it. Yeah, bro. But yeah, I mean, that's my little top 10 bantamweight breakdown. We have more bantamweights on the card, so it'll kind of come full circle. We can keep it pushing to the co-main unless you have any parting takes on the bantamweights.
Bro, no, I'm so ready to keep it pushing to the co-main because y'all must have forgot. And that's for not you, but the people at home.
No.
Our underdog of
the odds makers.
Dustin Poirier. We took it at plus 180. Plus 185 is what it finished at. Saint Denis finished at minus 225. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, we got it at plus 190. So shout out,
shout out,
Sportsbook.
Shout out.
And then ranked 3. And to that credit, see, I personally have Poirier 5 in my personal power ranking, even after the win.
But you don't have Saint Denis above 5.
I do not. I have Saint Denis all the way down at 9 after that. And Saint Denis coming in at minus 210 just never really made sense unless you were just purely fading the age. And don't get me wrong, when you're handicapping, when you're betting, especially lower weight classes, we just saw it with Volk and Taporia, you do got age does matter, but it's not the end all be all. If it's a coin flip, sure, let age be the deciding factor. But KOing Matt Frivola doesn't make you better than Dustin Poirier.
Yeah,
I just don't everybody.
Poirier fights names like Nurmagomedov, McGregor,
Oliveira,
Gaethje, and guess what? He wins half those fights. I haven't seen Saint Denis get a name like that and do anything. So I mean, credit to Poirier for giving him the shot, but man, Vegas was so far off on this. I mean, so far off.
4 fights ago, Denis was getting like 10-7 by Eliseo Zaleski.
Now, okay, I took that into big. That was a huge factor for me because, dude, Poirier, they talk about how he could move up to welterweight. They talk about how he's a huge lightweight. And so in my head, I'm like, wait, so this guy went up to welterweight and got tuned up by a mid-level welterweight that I think Poirier would beat. And I'm like, Poirier's a big lightweight. Like, I don't care if they're fighting a lightweight. It's still like he might as well be considered small welterweight. Like, he's going to torch Saint Denis.
Well, and like I said, I mean, the Frivola head kick knockout was dope. And I think people were doing too much caveman math here of, oh, Saint Denis won by head kick. Dustin Poirier lost by head kick. Vis-a-vis, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that was like too simplistic of a, I think people were doing too much caveman math there. I think they over-factored in the age. They over-factored in the head kick caveman math. Poirier is just still that guy. Like, for example, if Poirier fought Frivola, you don't think he knocks him out?
He would scorch him.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, it's not like saying that he did something that Poirier couldn't also do. And then I'll be real. That I saw early in the week, before even the headlines were talking about it, the hole in the forehead. I was like, that's Staff. Like, that's Staff for sure.
Yeah.
Like you don't gotta be.
I noticed that too in the embeddeds. I was like, this hole does not look well.
You don't got to be a fucking doctor to fucking, diagnose that one.
Big ass, like, red lump. I'm like, that's Staff?
Fucking Luke Thomas is like, yeah, it looked like somebody put a cigarette out on his forehead.
Yeah. It was like, dude, take some antibiotics. Fuck. Diving into it, though, it was very clear that St. Denis, like, he was going with a volume approach. He was just going to throw caution fully to the wind and just try to go slugfest with Poirier.
Well, he was also kind of mixing in more wrestling than I thought he would.
Yeah,
I was like,
the amount of time
Denis is not gonna. I just thought that, Saint Denis, when I was watching it as a Poirier better, I gave round 1 to BSD, but as a Poirier better, I felt good about it. I was like, oh, he's gonna try to wrestle him. Like, I was like, I don't think that's the path to victory here. So like,
and Dustin kept jumping Gilly.
Oh, but dude, all the memes. Have you seen all the memes? There's so many good memes. You know the classic meme of like the 2 red buttons and the guy's like sweating.
Yeah,
but it's
jump Gilly and jump Gilly.
Yeah, it was 3 buttons. They all say jump Gilly and it's Poirier's face. And then there's the classic meme of the dude walking with his girlfriend, looking back at the chick that is passed, and it says like jump Gilly.
Yeah.
And the hilarious part is Dustin actually posted that one himself on like his real account.
He said it in the post fight. He was like, y'all motherfuckers can keep talking all that shit about jumping Gillies. I'm gonna keep doing it.
He said you miss 100% of the Gillies you don't take.
What a beast.
But seriously, it got to the point where like bar, all the casuals watching with me were like, they were all even screaming like, quit it. Like, what are you doing?
Like, you're frustrating
It was so obvious. Like, it was so like, honestly, I thought he might have I did get nervous that he was going to fumble the fight away, like jumping Gilly. But like, BSD wasn't really doing anything that made me like, BSD didn't make me sweat my bet. It was just Poirier jumping Gilly was the only thing making me sweat my bet.
Right. That was why I felt like he lost the first round, was because it was like, you're defending the takedown fine. You just are jumping for guillotines. Like, guillotines, like, just let that go, defend the takedown, force him to stand up with you, and knock his bitch ass out. And eventually, that is what occurs.
Yeah, second round, man. Right hook. It was kind of the thing they were both kind of throwing. They were both kind of exchanging, but just Poirier got there first on the button. Hook.
Bro, is that not exactly how you saw it? Like, if you literally, you or I, thinking Poirier's going to win, it's like, they're both going to throw hooks, and Poirier's just going to brutally catch him in the middle of it. And it's like, yeah, word for word.
Like, if Poirier was able to, like, outbox Conor McGregor, I think he was able to outbox Benoit St. Denis. I'm like, I was kind of clowning the caveman head kick math, but real talk, if I'm Benoit St. Denis, I would be, like, spamming head kicks, doing the Leon Edwards jab, head kick, same side. Like, that was kind of the didn't even really attempt it.
I think the reason that was so successful against Poirier from Gaethje was because Poirier didn't expect it. So I think after having it landed on him and him getting KO'd, and he also blocked it. Like, if you go back and watch, it hits his arm and still knocks him out. So it's like, does Benoit Saint Denis throw kicks like Justin Gaethje? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think anyone does.
I don't think so either, man. So great knockout. Gets performance of the night. Did Sean O'Malley get a performance of the night? I think he did.
7. There were 7 bonuses last night.
Yeah, Dana is handing out the bags, which I always love cards like that. They deserve it. Obviously, the fighters do. So, yeah, man, I mean, I got Poirier at 5. Now, it's interesting, real quick, I guess, before I get to my power rankings. Like, Islam tweeted out, and Ali Abdelaziz was tweeting out that, like, Islam's down to fight Dustin in June. Islam kind of is down for that. Apparently, Khabib always, like, talked highly of Dustin and, like holds Dustin in high regards, and which obviously Islam would, too, in that case, if your mentor has respect for somebody. No, I think the math there is ridiculous. But
yeah, Gaethje gets the shot, right? Like, what are we talking about?
Well, maybe. I mean, the same way like Holloway should be fighting to Poirier. Like this whole checkers move BMF fight
the Gaethje Holloway thing is
everything.
Fucked. You're so
it's
right.
Fucking up everything. And then Oliveira's booked against Sarukian. So it's like Islam doesn't necessarily want to wait. You know, that fight's not till April.
Bro, right now is the time to make Islam Leon. Because if we're not going to give Bilal his shot, if we're just going to keep fucking Bilal, then at least give me Islam Leon.
I'll push back and say you can do Leon Bilal and then Islam Poirier all on the same card.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Like that's best case. But it seems like these guys are just.
And then there's a scenario where if you do it on the same card, then they could draw into each other. If Leon beats Bilal, Islam beats Poirier, same card.
Like, all right.
Then I think it sets that up.
That is the move. That is the move, actually. That is the move. That is the move.
Because, I mean, Charles and Sarukian don't fight till April. Then what, 3 months after that? We're at July, August? I mean, are we waiting until fall? Like, Islam wants to fight.
Islam wants it in June.
I love that he wants to fight. Yeah, he wants it in June. I think that makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah,
then he can fight the winner.
Poirier be down for that. I mean, right now, if he booked it, that's at least 10 weeks. At least. I mean, probably closer to 12.
I mean, 3 months? Yeah, fuck it. Poirier actually is already accepted. So Islam's already offered. Poirier's already accepted.
Oh.
Looks like that's going to happen.
Well, UFC, let's do this. What are we doing?
Yeah. What are we doing here? And then as far as Saint Denis, hear me out, dude. I got him sandwiched between Dariush and Michael Chandler. Am I crazy for having him over Michael Chandler? I just think Michael Chandler, between the age and the fight IQ, like, I think Saint Denis could, like, and Chandler's shorter. I think if anybody's going to get head kicked, I think Benoit could maybe catch Chandler with the head kick. But also, Chandler, I mean, you want to talk about, obviously, Saint Denis' chin is in question now. And, like, Chandler can crack that chin if, like, obviously throws heat. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that? Do you just juxtapose Saint Denis and Michael Chandler, like how you view those two guys? Like, who would you power rank ahead of who?
Oh, I can tell you. I mean, I have Chandler ahead of him. I have Saint Denis at 9 in lightweight.
So I also have Saint Denis at 9. I just have Chandler at 10. That's crazy. So, like,
so how do you? Oh, because you have Jalen Turner way up there, I'm sure.
No. I actually have Jalen Turner behind Chandler at 11. So I have my 6 through 10 right now. Gamrot 6, Fiziev 7, Dariush 8, Saint Denis 9, Chandler 10. I have Sarukian high. That's what skews it. I have Sarukian in my top 5.
What? Tell me your top 5.
Sarukian, Charles, Gaethje, Poirier. I have Sarukian high.
Oh, I know where I messed up. Dariush. I have Dariush behind. I have Dariush like you have Chandler. I have him at 10. I was like, who are we missing? We have the same list.
And it's tough because Dariush is coming off 2 consecutive knockouts, and if you want to dock him for that, fair play.
And he's old as fuck.
No, he's 34. He just looks old. He just looks old. Oh, dude, he's 34. He just looks old.
No.
34.
He is 34. He'll be 35 in a month.
But also, hear me out. Dariush has way better wins than Saint Denis.
Agreed.
This Frivola win
it's just the way they've looked.
I
guess it's just Dariush getting finished twice in a row. I'm just so out.
It's a tough look. I feel you. But now, I mean, they both got brutally KO'd. We got their last fight. Each of them got brutally KO'd. And then Dariush has better wins on his resume. I don't know.
It's just tough because, like, outside of 10, you have names like Moicano and Bobby Green and RDA and shit like that. And it's like, it's just a different level. Like, Saint Denis has at least put himself in that like top 10, 11 echelon.
For sure, top 10. Obviously, I don't think anybody disagrees, which is wild because he's ranked 12 and got knocked out. So he's probably not in the actual top 10.
I know he's not in actual, but like power rankings, he is. He's way above RDA. Like RDA got smoked by Gamrot. We'll get to that.
Sure, for sure.
Actually, let's keep it pushing. I'm going to keep it pushing. This next fight, very interesting from two aspects. And I think the first is, we both said Kevin Holland should be able to win this fight, and he very well should have been able to. But once again, man, he just refuses to fight with any sort of game plan or IQ.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. And honestly, if any fight didn't live up to expectations, it was this one. This fight was kind of snoozy, which is like lame. You have two exciting fighters and ends up being a snooze fest. I have a hot take. Everybody's kind of shitting on Kevin Holland and ball washing Michael Venom Page. I think that this proved kind of what I thought about. Even though I did bet Holland, I only bet he was on the Super Boost parlay, and MVP's old. But like MVP, he proved that like the best guys in Bellator are like not top 10 in UFC. Like we'll get to the X's and O's, I guess. But like after Michael Venom Page ends up eking out the decision here. And I, even after beating Holland, I have him at 15 in my power rankings. Like, between the age, and I just don't think he's that guy. Like,
I get the age thing, but, like, actually watching him, he just beat a guy way younger than him. So, like, clearly the age thing isn't quite the same.
Yeah, but I'm also kind of out on Kevin Holland. I'm kind of over it. Like, I don't think beating Kevin Holland puts you in the top 10.
While I agree, what I'm saying is his speed has not left him. Like, clearly he was faster. Clearly he was faster. And usually when you're talking about age, you're talking about speed and reaction time. He hasn't lost either of those. So from an age thing, throwing that analytic out the window for him, because until I see him lose those things that we... Like, those are the supplementations of age when we talk about them in gambling, is that a guy is going to lose reaction and speed. He hasn't done that. He clearly hasn't. So for me...
Well, he's in the right division to be
that
too.
That is where my takeaway, like I said last night, is he top 6, or I said he's top 6 for me. My takeaway of that is, listen, he's got guys.
We're far apart. We're far apart.
He's got.
Give me Fakhretdinov over Michael Venom Page.
I think like Ian Gary can beat him. I think Jack. See, I don't know about those guys. Like,
you don't think Jack Della beats him?
No, not after last night. No. He was on his way to losing that fight.
Dude, so time will tell. This will be like a little personal kind of pissing contest to see who's more accurate on our MVP takes. I just thought his performance was kind of like he won. He won a very close decision against Kevin Holland, who before last night I had Kevin Holland at 15. So, like, just maybe I'm, like, using my own power rankings, but my logic's consistent. Like, if you barely beat 15, like, okay, I'll let you become 15. I don't think that jumps you to 6.
Yeah, I'll give you that. And, like, but I think he beats Wonder Boy. I think he beats Vicente Luque.
I don't know that he does. I don't know that he beats Wonder Boy.
Oh, I think him and Wonder Boy's the fight to make. Me too.
Okay,
all right, bet. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
All right, bet. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just not sold that he beats him. Like, I'm not saying that's a given.
My thing is MVP power rankings, 6, 7, 8 for me. I could make a case anywhere in that range. But here's why, too, is that it's all matchup based. Because if you're making him fight Sean Brady, if you're making him fight Shavkat, like, he's losing. If you're making him fight Bilal, he's losing.
Agreed. I have all those guys ranked above him.
But if he fights Jeff Neal or Wonder Boy or Colby at this point, because I think Colby's done.
Yeah, that's where I was debating on the Colby one. But, like, I need to see one more bad performance.
He beats Magny, he beats Chiesa.
I have him above those guys.
Well, I mean, he has to be like at least 9 then.
Bro, I have Chiesa like in the mid-20s. I'm so out on Chiesa.
I fully agree. I'm just saying, like,
I think both of those statements can be true. Now, I got one for you. I got a little debate question for you. Then we'll get to the X's and O's. But like, I'm kind of a Michael Morales ball washer. I'm not sold that MVP can beat Michael Morales.
I just think that anyone that's going to try to strike with him and that won't commit to just purely wrestling him is in a very bad spot.
Maybe. Or maybe somebody actually fights him, unlike Kevin Holland, and fucking brings it to him like a young, hard-dick Michael Morales.
Yeah, I mean, man, it's hard, though, because, like, MVP's movement is so good, and he's fast as fuck. Like, he was catching Kevin Holland hard. Kevin Holland's chin is crazy.
Honestly, call me crazy. I scored this 29-20 at MVP.
Me too. Yeah, second round's to Holland.
Round 1 and 2 is like coin flips, basically. What I'm saying is, like,
one was
there is
close.
A conceivable scorecard where Kevin Holland wins this fight, and then we're not talking any of this about MVP being 6th in the welterweight power rank.
Agree, but listen, give MVP this. It's his first fight in the UFC, and oftentimes you see these guys come over from other organizations, and they have a bad first UFC performance.
Yeah, maybe if you're 25, like, I'm not giving MVP that. Like, he's 38 or 37.
Eddie Alvarez lost his UFC debut and then went on to be the champion.
Fair point. I just feel like you kind of agree with the
Gamrot lost to Kudus and he's in your top 6.
Yeah, begrudgingly. Now, we'll get to Gamrot.
I'm just saying. There's a very clear path for MVP to climb this ladder if they give him the right matchups.
Let's dive into this actual fight itself, though. We got Kevin Holland, minus 135. We got him at minus 130. Was ranked 13 in the UFC's rankings, not ours. Taking on Michael Venom Page. Coming over from Bellator. I guess technically coming over from BKFC. That's where his last fight was. And taking that L to Mike Perry. Black on black violence in that one, but yeah, I thought it was perfect from a matchmaking perspective. They gave him a tall guy, they gave him a fast guy, an athletic guy,
and a guy that's too dumb to fight a fight to win.
You're so right, which is kind of proven the round that we both gave to Kevin Holland. He got a takedown and won the round,
and almost got a submission. Like, that choke was pretty deep and got him into full mount, and he just fucked it off.
Yeah, bro. Which is why, like, I may be going more. This is classic Kevin Holland fumble the bag like he did against Wonder Boy than it is MVP's the 6th best guy in the world.
Okay, all I'm gonna say is, by that logic, you have to apply it to the next fight then too.
See, I don't know. Oh, you mean the guy that gets a finish? The brutal knockout of a top 5 guy is like, I hold that in higher regards than a snoozy decision over 15, Holland? Sue me.
All right, we'll get to it, because Burns fumbled that whole bag away. He had the fight wrapped up.
I don't wholeheartedly disagree, but you see what I'm saying. I view those things differently. Finishing Gilbert Burns and going to a snoozy decision that you could have lost to Kevin Holland, like, those things are not
let me say it this way. Same. Kevin Holland's chin is better than Gilbert Burns.
Sure.
He got hit harder at the same weight on the same night and didn't go out like Gilbert Burns went out.
I don't know if he ate anything like that knee. They talking about the knee?
That elbow? Spinning back elbow that Kevin Holland ate flush to his face?
Hey, Kevin Holland's a G. Kevin Holland, like I'm kind of agreeing, like we just see it differently. But yes,
I'm saying that logic.
The right comparison, I think the knee from Della is gnarlier than a spinning elbow from Michael Venom Page. Like that, I see it that way. So I guess that's where subjectivity comes in.
It's probably true. Like, a knee is going to be harder for sure.
But round 1, MVP wins, but the round sucked. I mean, it was a snooze fest. Nobody really did shit. So sure, he won the round. Okay.
He landed the more impactful strikes, although neither guy really landed much.
I think the strike count in that round was like 16-11 or something, and this was supposed to be striker on striker.
Yeah.
Fucking, this fight sucked. Honestly, stop down on both these guys. That's where I'm at. Kevin Holland gets the takedown, like we alluded to. Submission attempt in round 2. Why the fuck didn't you do that all 3 rounds? The world may never know. And then round 3, yeah, he did. He was to the credit, Kevin Holland did attempt a couple of takedowns in 3, got him stuffed. So
got him stuffed. Facts, yeah, it's true. Michael Page's like footwork along the ringside is pretty impressive.
Yeah, No, it was good. Like I think both of these guys are good, but not great. Like for example, I mean, MVP gets the unanimous decision. I honestly was expecting a split personally, but I mean, I don't know, that was a close fight. But MVP gets the unanimous decision. Like I said, I have him at 15 and Holland at 16 because that's how I viewed the fight. Like I viewed that. I mean, that was a super close fight where neither guy performed that well. So it's like, fuck out of here with your top six. I'm sorry.
I just can't name. I can't name 11 guys I think that could beat MVP on that same night.
I think I can, bro. I think.
What are you going to say? Names like Michael Morales?
I'll leave that name off. I will say names like a Sean Brady. Like we view the Jack Della fight differently. I'll give me Jack Della. Obviously, all my top five belong.
You think Jeff Neal?
See, that
he fights
dicey.
Like a moron. He does the same shit Kevin Holland will do. It's the same
That's
thing.
what I'm saying. I think that would be more Jeff Neal fumbling that one than Michael Venom Page being the sixth best guy in the world. Like, but decent point.
I think the differentiation is that like Michael Venom Page is he's like a stylistic nightmare for some guys, and for some guys he's what they would want. So it's hard to power rank him because he's so matchup based.
Yeah, and I think that there's all right. You want to know a name? Talking about matchup based, I'll give you a name that you don't have ranked above him. Fakhretdinov. No, Fakhretdinov, if they strike at all.
I like Fakhretdinov's chances in the fight. I'll be honest. They're ranked like two apart in my rankings. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So like I just you're right. It is very matchup based. That's why I'm not so sold that he beats Covington. Like especially if Covington had an off night against Leon. Like if that was just an off night.
Colby's just so washed. Like he's just
maybe could potentially. I think we need to I think we need one more bad Colby fight to for sure say that wasn't an off night.
If he gets like tuned up by Ian Gary, I'm out on Colby.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, I'm just not in on MVP, man. And I'm a Bellator hater, so what's good?
Not sold on the.
No, not sold. I'm Kevin Holland with it. I'm Kevin Holland with it. Yeah, I mean but I am kind of out on Kevin Holland. I'm not out on him as far as like being a fan, like sure, but I'm gonna lump him in that like Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor. Like it's fun to watch fight, like main card guy, fun on social media. If I had a list of like top 5 UFC fighters, I'd want to like invite to a cookout and to like smoke one and have a beer with like Kevin Holland. Like so, my fandom. I'm not saying I'm out as like a fan. But as far as like a believer in the skill set
and
like
a better,
run at 70,
we can't bet on him.
And a better,
if he's not going to fight with any strategy, you can't bet on a guy with no strategy.
You can't bet 1,000%, 1,000%. More so, that's more than anything. I'm not out as a fan. I'm out as a bettor and like a handicapper. I'm out on Kevin Holland. Yeah. But yeah, let's keep it pushing to this Jack Della fight because we've already kind of broke it down. Like we've been arguing about it for fucking 25 minutes already. So I can't wait to get to the actual breakdown here. Jack Della Maddalena, minus 160, ranked 11 coming into this one, taking on 4th ranked Gilbert Burns. Burns finished at plus 135, and we took him at plus 135 on our Super Boost parlay. Now, it's funny because you think I'm going to ball wash JDM here, but I actually agree with you more than probably it sounds like because I gave 1 and 2 to Burns. Fully admit that like it was a coin flip. Like I thought rounds 1 and 2 were super close. I gave them both to Burns though. I thought Burns was like up 2-0 going into the third. I thought, in the words of Chill, that Burns never lost a round last night.
Interesting, bro. You're gonna love this. He was up 2-0 on 2 judges' scorecards, and he was 1-1 on Saldi Amado's, which I had it 1-1, but like I said, or like you just said, coin flip first round, so like I gave it to JDM, but like honestly, easily see the case for Burns there, and I thought 2 was clearly to Burns. So, yeah, for me, Burns, and then Burns was winning round 3. That was the other point, was that he was about to get mounted on JDM on the ground along the fence. JDM hits a sick fence sweep, which if they're not on the fence, he can't even do that sweep, gets out, lands a knee literally as soon as he stands up and wins the fight. Like, it was like Hail Mary type shit.
I heard Luke Thomas break down this fight this morning. I was listening to what he had to say about it. He said that like that sweep was something called like a reverse C guard that apparently like Craig Jones is like implements a lot in his style of grappling.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. That's where me and Luke Thomas's takes disagree though, because he was talking about how like, oh, in a year or two, Jack Della Maddalena's grappling is going to be right there at the top of the division, and I'm out on that take. I don't agree with that take at all. I think that like all these strong grapplers, the Sean Brady's of the world, even like a Bilal Muhammad, a Usman, I think those are all bad matchups for JDM. But yeah, you're right. So like I had Gilbert Burns. I mean, so Gilbert Burns got 3 takedowns in the first round and 3 takedowns in the second round. He ended round 1. This is my differentiating factor in round 1. He ended the round. I thought it was a coin flip round. He ended the round like on top lane and like pretty good ground and pound. Like okay, like that'll be my tiebreaker. Like if that's caveman math, sure, guilty as charged. And then round 2. That standing elbow Burns landed was probably the most impactful strike of the round.
Big
and you add 3 takedowns on top of that. Like, what do you want me to do with that?
Right. I thought Burns won damage battle in round 2 and obviously control. Like, I thought he clearly won round 2.
Like, what do you want me to do with that? You want me to not give that round to Burns? Like,
well, and that's why I'm so down on the JDM train right now is that... oh, JDM got me sneezing. Is that, like, bro, he like... I mean, he wins at 3 minutes, 43 seconds of round 3. So there's a minute 17 left in this fight whenever he gets the finish. It's like, you're getting on Hail Mary levels, like, at that amount of time and having lost rounds 1 and 2 and maybe even 3 to that point.
It's like Chael Silva in a way, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
He never lost a round. Like, he didn't lose a round in that fight. Like, Burns never lost a round last night. I mean, But I'll say though, the reversal, that Z-guard sweep that Luke Thomas was talking about, like that's not fluky. The knee was like not fluky. I mean, finishing Burns, not fluky. Like only the top guys finished Gilbert Burns. Hamzat could have finished Burns. Like
I think there's a lot of nights where he throws that knee and it doesn't connect as clean as it did.
A lot of what we do on this podcast is like conjecture and looking ahead and like mental simulations. But I think that does kind of go too far down the woulda, coulda, shoulda road.
Well, I think about it this way. I think
what if Leon doesn't land the head kick? Like you can play that game with like almost anything. Like I think that's going too far down the woulda, coulda, shoulda road. Like, it landed and it hurt Burns very badly.
I think,
and then the follow-up ground and pound, like the killer instinct, the meanness. What were we saying? Like Basharat, no physicality, no mean nature, no killer instinct. Like JDM checks those boxes.
Yeah, I wonder about the technical boxes. Like he's mean, sure, but like kind of was losing at every point of this fight until he wasn't. Like I think if they fight again, Burns wins. Like I like Burns again. But also I would bet him as the underdog again right now.
He was 11 fighting 4. It was by far the hardest, biggest fight of his career. Like, I just don't know if that's the spot to nitpick him. Like, if he keeps doing this, if he keeps pulling the rabbit out of the hat, or if he keeps, like, fumbling rounds away, or if he's losing, if that's anybody other than Gilbert Burns, like, when he was losing rounds to Basil Hafez, like, that was stocked down. But, like,
I'm just saying, it's hard for me to
hold it against the guy to lose a round to Gilbert Burns. Like most guys on earth lose rounds to Gilbert Burns.
No, but I'll say this: it's hard for me to see that performance and go, "Oh, he's beating MVP 100%." I can't say that.
I thought he.
How can you say that after watching that fight?
You know what? Here's why: because he fucking fought. MVP pitter-patted, bullshitted. And,
that's what MVP wants you to do: is chase him around. That's exactly what he wants.
I'll put it this way. I think JDM performed, I'll say it to be a prick, he performed better than MVP. I don't say it super bullishly, but yeah, bro, I mean, those.
He lost every round.
Could argue MVP lost 2 rounds too. Like
didn't lose every round.
Well, JDM didn't lose the 3rd round. I mean, if you want, like...
Yeah, if it went to a scorecard, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like
I don't know. It's just I don't know.
You combine that with the age and just like this isn't even caveman. This is MMA math, but it's not caveman math. Knocking out Gilbert Burns. I'm going back on this point. This is after this. I'll rest my case and leave it to the jury. Like knocking out Gilbert Burns in violent fashion, performance of the versus getting a snoozy, close decision over 15th ranked Kevin Holland.
I think
that's not a riddle. Like that happened last
I'll say
night.
this.
Like, that's not
okay. In response to that, if Burns has Holland's chin, he wins his fight. So.
Yeah, but I'm talking like reality, fact-based statements, and you're talking about like what a question.
I'm saying if they fought, like if JDM fights Holland, I don't like. Obviously they have fought, but like
they did fight.
It wasn't that far apart. It looked just like MVP.
It did. You're right. Maybe that's Holland's style kind of forces you to kind of fight him that way.
Yeah, so I'm like a little bit. Like I just don't understand how you can be so high on JDM and so down on MVP. They're like the same performance last night.
I guess I'm just still not a believer in MVP.
You just hate MVP from Bellator in the 37 years of age. I know what it is.
I mean, are those bad things to hate? Like that guy, like that makes sense. Like fuck Bellator and fuck being 37-year-old welterweight. Like give me the young lion JDM. Like I'm not like saying anything like out of school here. Like give me the young lion. Let's these legends. Let's go.
Ah man, I'll stick with my Drew Brees over Joe Burrow still right now.
I'll say this: if they ever fight, fuck the sports book. We got to make like a homie
personal,
handshake bet on that one. Yeah.
Which I love MVP if they do fight.
And then all right. So real quick, and then we'll keep it pushing here. I moved Della Maddalena all the way up to 6 in my power rankings. I know you're going to hate that. I got him right behind Bilal Muhammad and right ahead of Sean Brady.
The fact that I have MVP at the same spot that you have JDM, and my point is that they look like the same guy, tells me all I need to know.
Tells me JDM 6. But and then that being said, I think this is where we may agree more, hopefully, God willing. I dropped Burns down to around 9, behind Jeff Neal and ahead of Wonderboy Thompson.
Yeah, except I have him at 7 above both those guys. But yeah, same thing.
Yeah, you're right.
Because I don't think he lost really any part of the fight until he lost.
I'll say this though: say you do the Burns Neal matchup. Burns coming off the KO at that age against the guy with crazy power. I think it would actually probably play out pretty similar. I think he would probably win a couple rounds against Jeff Neal and then get caught with something.
Once again, though, 0 fight IQ Jeff Neal.
Yeah, that's what makes it tough. And Burns, obviously, still very good fight IQ.
Very good.
Like I said, I think the fight would look pretty similar. I could see him winning the first 2 rounds and then getting knocked out, just catching something, age, chin, that type, size. He's a lot smaller than Jeff Neal. Like, I think all those things would kind of
I think I'm also at the point I think I'm questioning JDM's ceiling. And clearly we've already seen MVP's ceiling. I don't even think he's past it. Like he's now down from where he was. We're not even going to ever see him the best he was.
Another reason that's a big part of my argument.
I understand. I totally understand that like it's the mountain and one guy's going up and one guy's coming down, but they're at the same height, opposite sides. Totally get it. I just don't know that JDM actually has the ability to reach that ceiling. I don't see the ceiling skills from him.
Well, where we're going to agree a lot on JDM is, like I said, with disagreeing with Luke Thomas's take. Like I said, Luke Thomas had this like hot take that in fucking 18 months, JDM's grappling is going to be to a level where these top guys can't like utilize that as a weakness against him. And I'll believe that when I see it.
Yeah, I don't buy that at all. Like it sounds like Luke Thomas is good friends with JDM.
Like Sean Brady. No, it's going to be kind of hard because if you want to say, like, all right, let's do the 2K simulator, Sean Brady versus JDM. I think the grappling causes a ton of problems, but also, like, JDM knockout artist, Sean Brady knocked out by Bilal Muhammad, who doesn't knock out anybody. Like, JDM could easily sleep Sean Brady. Not easily, but he could also lose a bunch of rounds on his back. I honestly think that would probably be how I matchmake it. And then the winner of that one has, like, legit, like, claim to like even though JDM has a top 5 win and Sean Brady fumbled his top 5 opportunity.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough.
It's tough now, especially because JDM is going to get put up like at 5 or higher, and like he's essentially going to fight someone like Shavkat. He probably fights Shavkat next. And he
called out Shavkat, which is a fucking crazy and insane person thing to do. I don't fully get that.
I think he gets tuned up by Shavkat.
Oh, bro. I think Shavkat might be like minus 500. No, you could argue Shavkat's probably minus 300 over anybody in the division, probably.
Yeah, like, not named Leon. They'd give Leon more respect, but yeah.
I think he'd still probably have, minus 180 over Leon? Like,
probably.
You know what I mean? And it would probably get bet to minus 300 by Friday. So,
there's a dark Kazakh horse in the welterweight division named Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Bro, for sure. That's why, the fact that JDM, from, a gangster, nutsack perspective, shout out. From, a managing your career perspective,
thumbs down. Shout out, thumbs down.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think you want that smoke, brother. Well, let's keep it pushing here to the main card curtain jerker.
This was
Petr Yan.
Final leg of our parlay as well. Just want to throw it out there for people at home. Kind of sweaty with that in mind.
Oh, yeah. I was going crazy at the bar.
I'm going to grab a beer while you introduce it real fast, though.
Yeah. So we got Petr Yan, ranked 4 coming into this one. Finished at minus 140. We got him at minus 115. So shout out on that's probably some of the best value we got there. Betting early in the week. Kids, if you're going to place your bet, do it early. Taking on 7th ranked Song Yadong, plus 120. Bantamweight division. And, this was stays in the top 5 and who's still in title picture versus who no longer is and is fighting towards the back end of the top 15. I was just saying, this fight kind of determined, the winner of this fight is still fighting top 5 guys. It's maybe a fight away from a title shot. The loser of this fight probably slides into more of a gatekeeper role, fighting the back end of the top 15. I think that's probably fair to say. That's kind of what was on the line here. Super close round. I have the word close in all caps in my round 1 and round 2 notes. I think we definitely got to go round by round here. How'd you see round 1, brother?
So 1, I thought really close. I actually scored it to Yadong, though. I liked the damage he was landing, and I also thought he had Yan seeing fucking ghosts every time he'd feint a shot.
See, I actually gave it to him. I liked his grappling. He got that takedown. He advanced position, took the back. I didn't think either guy got a ton of damage off in round 1, so that's why I favored the grappling. All right, I thought the damage was kind of even, so the guy that was winning the grappling, I gave the round to. But either way, we arrived there differently, but same conclusion.
But no, I'm saying every time Song Yadong would feint the shot, the reactions Petr Yan was giving was he was seeing ghosts, he was seeing the ghost of Merab, holy shit, I can't let him touch me, and it was having the effect where Saddam Yadong song, no, but yeah, Song Yadong, man, it was giving him striking openings every time he'd act like he was going to shoot because Petr Yan would drop his hands and then just eat shots. And then he did get taken down. And that made it even worse for him, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, you hear DC, every time DC commentates any fight ever, he always says it ad nauseum about, it's just the threat of the takedown will affect the striking. This was a
prime example.
Play of it.
Petr Yan was seeing ghosts of Merab out there in that first round. It was tough. It was tough as a bettor. I was he needs to figure this shit out. He needs to stuff a takedown and know he can do it, and then he's going to go to work.
And see, the crazy thing is, man, I think if this is a kickboxing match, it's a draw. I thought the striking, especially in rounds 1 and 2, because the same exact reason I gave Song Yadong 1, striking basically even, but he got the takedown. Same opposite can be said for Petr Yan in round 2, striking pretty even. He's the one that gets the takedown. He lands some good ground and pound and cuts.
His ground and pound was big time in that round. Big time.
Yeah, so 1 to Song, 2 to Yan. I think that's fair to say, although both of those rounds were close, but I think each round had a clear winner.
Yeah, and all the judges agree. I agree with you. I have it the same way, 19-19 going to 3. Now, I will say, as a guy that bet Yan, I felt really good about that going to 3 because he's a guy that he gets stronger 3, 4, 5 if it's a 5-round fight.
I was about to say a guy with more 5-round experience. Yeah, for sure. And once again, kind of comes down. So the difference is each guy gets a takedown in this one. Song Yadong gets a takedown early round 3. Yan gets a takedown later in the round and has more control with this takedown. So I mean, all 3 judges gave round 3 to Yan. Sounds like we probably both did.
He also opened up a second cut in round 3 and had Yadong bleeding from both eyes, which was a good visual optic.
Yeah, Song Yadong is, bless you, brother. Song Yadong, he's one of these guys that kind of cuts easily. I mean, does he cut easily or does he fight like world-class guys? I mean, the world may never know. Like,
how hard is he getting hit? Like, is his chin way better than we're giving it credit for?
Yeah, no, I think his chin is great, but like he has like kind of like paper skin. You know what I'm saying? Like or like scar tissue or whatever. Like Nate Diaz, he's gonna bleed every fight.
But like that's what happens whenever you have a great chin is you just get touched up so much in practice because you just never stop. That the scar tissue builds faster. I think we're seeing that with Song Yadong.
These cuts are impacting all these fights. I mean, remember the doctor stoppage against Sandhagen? We basically had the cuts as the deciding factor in this razor close fight. You know what I mean? Like we got to remember that, like betting Song Yadong in the future. Like if he's betting like a guy that throws elbows or like a guy
that has good damage,
dangerous guy, like he's gonna probably bleed. And he's probably gonna lose rounds because of the bleeding. You know what I mean? Just the visual optics of it. Like Song Yadong, I mean, I think top 5 like skill set just doesn't have these wins. You know, he fights these top guys and loses.
Yeah, I will say too. I guess because the other 3 will be from the prelims or early prelims videos. This does cash our parlay though. It does hit plus 454, 4-legger. Gave it out. Man, I mean, 6 days ahead of time. We're giving you guys money. We're giving you guys money for free.
There's other assholes that want to charge you for their picks. All we ask is a free little click on that subscribe button on YouTube, and we're giving you winners, baby. We're giving you winners.
And we've quite literally hit 12 in a row. I don't know how many handicappers are out there doing 12 in a row, but we are. 2 parlays.
And like, overall, even including fights that we didn't actually bet, just purely pick-wise, last week 89%, this week 71%. But the actual bets are 100%.
Yeah.
So it's like what do you want from us?
Yeah, we tell you where the risk is and how to avoid the risk and how to cash.
Yeah, man. Fucking subscribe, man. But yeah, I mean, fantastic main card. I mean, top 3 main card of the Beefy Boys era. Like, going, like, I mean,
100%.
Epic.
100%. Yeah. Best card of the year. I mean, like I said, if 300 doesn't perform and it has some fights that are snoozy or bad for any reason, this has a great chance to outshine 300. And I've heard some hot takes from, like, Brendan Schaub, so if it's a take from him, you know it's hot. But, yeah, he was saying that on paper he likes this one more, thinks it's more impactful with more, like, youth. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, but I like 299.
Bapa.
Yeah, Bapa.
But real quick before we keep it pushing to the prelims. We didn't really talk fallout here of where these guys kind of end up in our power rankings and matchmaking and all that. So I have Petr Yan at 4. I have him right behind Umar, Sean, and Merab.
See,
you know, it's kind of ironic because I scored the Yan O'Malley fight for Yan, but I also think O'Malley's gotten better and learned from that. And I think Yan has kind of questioned himself, kind of in like a limbo flux state of his career of like, am I that guy still? And so it's like, even though I scored that fight for Yan, I still have O'Malley above. From what I saw, if Song Yadong made it that close, I think Umar is a problem, and because I don't think he has like the KO power to like hurt Umar, and I think Umar is bigger and more athletic. And then Song Yadong, this will get into kind of the prelims breakdown, but I have him at 7, sandwiched between Kyler Phillips and Jonathan Martinez. Like, I think he could beat those guys, or those guys could beat him. Like I said, I mean, Jonathan Martinez, kick master. I could see him, you know, keeping Yadong at range, and maybe giving him a cut. Same thing with Kyler Phillips. Like, Kyler Phillips, A, has a win over him already.
Yeah.
And then B, I just think that he fights a style that, like, judges would like in a fight against Yadong.
Agreed. I think, like, Rob Font and Yadong is, like, a fun fight just because of styles. I think Davison Figueiredo and Yadong is fun because of styles. But I don't necessarily know that he beats those guys. I think he beats Font. I don't know that he beats Figueiredo.
See, I kind of want to see Yadong, because Yadong's gotten the big names. He's had his chance. He got the Sandhagen fight. He got the Petr Yan fight. Lost them both. I think he needs to kind of put the ladder down to Mario Bautista or Jonathan Martinez and give them that name value, that shot at some name value.
I would say
maybe a fight night Apex.
Jonathan Martinez makes the most sense from the UFC's rankings because honestly, I think Martinez is better, or maybe. I mean, it's a close fight.
I have Martinez over Bautista. I don't disagree with you. A little more deserving resume wise.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. Is like I think it's Jonathan Martinez's opportunity to get a top 10 shot, and it's a guy that needs to fight back.
Yeah, agreed. Agree with both of those. Yeah, dude, Jonathan. I'm kind of a believer in Jonathan Martinez. We've been on him early, like since he was fighting on Apex prelims. Like we've been hyping the train for a minute. I think in Song is it. He got his shots. He got his big fights. He got his main event. He got on this Uber card. You know what I'm saying? The UFC's done him favors. He came up short, and I'm not saying that means he sucks or anything like that. But I do think it means he deserves kind of a fight back in the rankings, back in the name value. You fumbled your shot at kind of contenders Grand Prix. If he beats Sandhagen or Yan, you could argue he's shortlist for a title fight. He fumbled both of those. Not even fumbled, he performed pretty decent, more so against Yan than Sandhagen. But I think of Martinez, I think he's that's what's fair. And now we all know that fair doesn't really matter when it comes to UFC matchmaking. So we'll see what actually takes place. But yeah, if I'm Sean Shelby for the day, I'm doing Song Yadong, Jonathan Martinez, maybe even an Apex main event. It.
I think that fight makes a ton of sense. And then honestly, I mean, you could do Petr Yan and Cejudo. That's fun. You could do Petr Yan and Davison Figueiredo. Super fun. I think Petr Yan.
Cheeto fought?
I don't think so, but I just think Cheeto, I don't think he deserves to fight up still again after getting just dog walked against Sandhagen and O'Malley.
Reed, but in a weird, Petr Yan colored glasses, I think that's a winnable fight for Yan, and he gets that win. I don't know, because he's gotten the short end of the stick, right? He got kind of fucked against Sterling. He got debatably fucked against Sean O'Malley. I think he kind of deserves a favorite. Like I said, fair doesn't really matter. If I'm putting myself in the shoes of what I think Yan quote unquote deserves, I think he deserves a big fight against a Cheeto Vera. And then if I'm Cheeto Vera, it's gonna be a Yan, or they're gonna try to build a prospect off you. Yan probably gets him better card placement, bigger fight, gets him closer to a title shot. I think it's kind of a win-win for both guys. I think it's kind of a quote-unquote soft landing spot for Cheeto, because I said, if they don't give Cheeto a Petr Yan, then he's going to be fighting back in the rankings, against. I
mean,
I don't know, maybe a Farid Basharat or somebody like that, or.
I mean, they kind of did Cheeto the ultimate favor, giving him this shot that he really didn't deserve over a bunch of other guys, and then he got embarrassed for 5 rounds. I don't understand why he would get something nice.
I think it wouldn't necessarily. First off, I'm picking Petr Yan in that fight, so I think.
No, I'm saying why would he get to even fight Peter? He needs to fight outside the top 10. He needs to fight backwards. He doesn't deserve anything that's in the top 10.
I think Petr deserves a big name. You see what I'm saying? It's more of a reward to Petr than it is a reward to Cheeto.
Cejudo, bigger name than Cheeto.
Wrong. Interesting.
I think Figueiredo arguably
you might have sold
me.
You might have sold me.
I mean, both former champions, and Yan a former champion. It's you just kind of got to fight in the same degree of.
Figueiredo would be dope because of the size, the stature. They're built very similar. Hey, I think he sold me. So I'll take it in red. I'll take it in red. And we'll keep it pushing to the prelims.
Yes, sir.
Keep it pushing to the prelims.
Yes, sir. We will keep it pushing to the prelims. That wraps it up for the main card breakdown. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, but mostly subscribe. You'd be dumb to not subscribe with the amount of money that we're gonna bring to your book, to your wallet.
We're handing out winners here. We're every week, and we got more winners coming to you on tomorrow's video as well. So we'll be giving out our picks for the Tuivasa Tybura card, fight night dog shit card.
Yeah,
We'll get out.
Hot dog shit card. Those picks will be coming up real soon.
Yes, sir. But yeah, thanks for watching, y'all. Well, if you're a real hardcore, tune into this prelim video.